Hendrick Motorsports has improved greatly in the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season. These improvements have been linked to numerous changes that happened at the organization in the offseason. Whether it be Kyle Larson joining the team, Chad Knaus becoming the vice president of competition, or the continued maturation of the young stable of drivers, Hendrick as a whole has made a remarkable transition back to the team to beat each and every weekend on the grid. Let us take a look at how Hendrick has been able to climb back to the top of the running order. As a driver grows older, it has been shown that they will continue to improve, whether this be a natural occurrence or something that has been sped up artificially by outside sources, both of which have most likely happened. We see week in and week out young drivers making mistakes on track, overdriving their equipment, or straight roughing up their competitors. This is not a problem unique to the developmental rungs of the stock car racing ladder, as even in the Cup Series we have seen drivers struggle with managing the pace of the longest oval races in the country. For champion Chase Elliott, it stands to reason that he is at his peak. Coming off of a career year and title, that argument is rather easy. However, a driver's peak is in their mid to late 30s, so for Chase to fit that standard that has been set forth by years of data analysis, he will continue to need to improve. That's a promising proposition to a team that has made Elliott a cornerstone of their organization for years to come. To provide some numbers, to date, July 29th, 2021, Chase has an average finish of 12th. While last year his average was 11.7, so by year's end. So the number 9 team is about where they were last season. However, Chase's maturation has been more than just behind the wheel. In the last year, we have seen the son of Bill continue to develop reasons for fans to get behind him, whether it be his emotions after win at Martinsville in the fall last year.
Couldn't ask for a better night. It's unreal. Thanks to the fans for coming out.
They're here, yeah.
Yeah, they are. Love to see it. Oh, trying to catch my breath, man. It's unbelievable. Going to Phoenix, shot to win a championship. Beautiful blue Napa Camaro. Headed out there with the shot to win a title. What more could you ask for?
Or going out and participating in winning an SRX race last month. Chase has become more of an ambassador for the sport, which only helps bolster his stocks off the track. For a driver that is not always as active in the social media space compared to his teammates, or for a matter of fact, as accessible to the fans as other top-tier drivers, Elliott has continued to build himself off the track. This shows a maturation outside of the car, which was the last major knock on the 2020 Cup Series champion. In terms of comparing last year to Chase's previous best seasons, he achieved a career high in every statistical category. This goes to the idea that Chase was able to close races late in 2020, where in the past he had not, whether to his own detriment, those of his crew chief, or due to an accident with another competitor. Examples of the number 9's team not finishing races go back to his rookie season, but in the case of last year, it included the pit fiasco in the 600 and late race restart dust-ups in 2 of the 3 Darlington races. However, by keeping Chase with crew chief Alan Gustafson, Hendrick has been able to let the two build a great relationship that has led to championship success. While Gustafson has had his fair share of high-profile gaffes, week in and week out they have turned their ship around, parlaying it into a championship and being a contender every week in the Cup Series. Similar to Elliott, teammate Alex Bowman has not always been known to finish races strong. Going into 2021, Bowman was also tasked with taking over the 48, as the former 88 team was rebranded. Bowman has been a solid driver throughout his career, not making the young driver mistakes of overdriving his equipment and rubbing his fellow competitors the wrong way. However, since Bowman is a more conservative driver, DNFing 9 times in his first 3 full-time seasons at Hendrick, Bowman doesn't overdrive his equipment to the same levels as his teammates. That is to say that he can't beat his teammates. See Chicagoland 2019. So what's the big difference? Bowman, who this season is on pace to have 5.5 DNFs, so 5 or 6, with 3 through the first 22 races, it was a lot like Martin Truex Jr. in a sense. Truex, who didn't really have major success in the Cup Series until 2015, is a driver known for driving exactly where the car should be. Give him a top 5 car, he can finish there. A top 10 car, he can get it. Bowman has gradually been transforming into this type of driver. In 2020, the stats show this. Average finish of 14.7 with the team average around 14.9, so right on pace with the team. Team average is 7.5, top 5s, he has 6. Team average is 15 top 10s per car through 22 races, he's got 15. Obviously, those team averages were buffed by the late season success of Chase Elliott 2021, though, shows a different picture, with Bowman scoring well below his teammates, but not a dangerous level. They're as follows: an average finish of 14th, team average at 12th, 6 top 5s, with the team only getting 8.5, so he's already matched that 2020 mark of top 5s, and 12 top 10s, with the team averaging 13. So 2.5 on the top 5s compared to his teammates, but not really terrible numbers. You look at that, you see the drop off in comparison to his teammates, but he has already met his mark in top 5s, a career best average finish, and is on pace to have more top 10s than he has any other year in his career. You can look at these numbers and make the assumption that they could be better without the crashes that the team has been in, but even if we threw out the notion, we are still looking at a career year for Bowman, much in the same as the rest of Hendrick Motorsports. Crew Chief Greg Ives has done a great job of continuing to help Bowman become more confident in himself. The way we can tell that is the 3 wins the team has on the season. This, of course, puts them second on the team in that category, but also marks a career best for Bowman. As we earlier discussed, Bowman is a driver that will get you exactly what you give him, and with this season's production in the wins category, it's very obvious that Bowman has matured his ability to close out and win races. The combination of a driver and crew chief can make or break a race team. We have all heard of the milk and cookies story between Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus. For every Kevin Harvick, Rodney Childers combination, there are 10 Greg Irwin, Matt DiBenedetto combos. Hendrick Motorsports has been able to cultivate talent that complements their driver lineup in-house, but has also poached away talent from other teams and series. There are 2 great examples of this occurring in the 2021 season. Kyle Larson joined Hendrick Motorsports in the offseason, being given a second chance. Whatever you think of the driver of the number 5 car, his talent is undeniable. The biggest knock on Larson in his early career was his ability to finish off races, much like his champion teammate Chase Elliott. This season, Larson has finished strong in races where he has been the dominant car, but has also had his hard-paced driving rear consequences at Atlanta in the spring and the first Pocono race. A lot of credit for Larson's turnaround in terms of finishing races has to go to crew chief Cliff Daniels. Daniels, of course, was named Jimmy Johnson's crew chief in August of 2019 and helped the 7-time champion return to more consistent finishes during his last full-time season in 2020. In 2018, the year previous, Johnson's last season with Chad Knaus, the pair posted 2 top 5s and 11 top 10s. This went to 3 and 12 and 19 with Daniels taking over the second half, and 4 of the 48's top 10s came with Daniels in 2019. Daniels was also the lead engineer on the team that season. In 2020, they posted a better average finish as well as more top 5s with 5. Daniels was maturing as a crew chief and has now taken the lessons learned from his time with Johnson to work with Kyle Larson. In 2019, Kyle Larson's last full-time Cup Series season, he had 8 top 5s and 17 top 10s. Now, you can, of course, handicap this by making note of the fact that Larson was at Chip Ganassi Racing. However, the real telling story is the times Larson was running at the finish. In 2019, Larson finished 28 of 36 races. Of these, 7 were for crashes, and 1 was due to an engine failure. This season, in 22 races, he has only failed to finish a race once, that being due to an engine failure that occurred early at Talladega in the spring. It goes without saying that Larson's other stats are on pace to all hit career best marks. The partnership could have blown up without the steady hands of crew chief Cliff Daniels. This is exemplified by some of the communications shown during the NBC broadcast of the race in Nashville, where the combo was victorious.
So there's a
We're
lot
good
of
on fuel, plenty good on fuel, and no reason to push it at this point. So
that's
just
forward
manage.
to Kyle Larson.
You can hear Daniels reminding the known to be too aggressive driver about his pace, reassuring him that taking it easy sometimes is the best path to victory. It goes without saying that Larson is having his career year, and that would not have been possible without the steady hands of crew chief Cliff Daniels. On the flip side, driver the number 24, William Byron, struggled his first 3 seasons in the Cup Series. Byron took over the 5 car of Casey Kane, rebranding to the famed number 24. He thus inherited crew chief Darian Grubb. The pair would fail to score top 5 that season and only get 4 top 10s. Then in 2019, Byron would be paired with legendary crew chief Chad Knaus. At times, the pairing was known to get into spats with each other, as Knaus's abrasive style didn't quite mesh with perfectly with Byron's quiet demeanor. This is exemplified from radio communications last season at Dover as the playoff hopes of the number 24 team were on the line.
Dude, I'm trying. I don't know what to do. Tell you what I see, or just tell me that you run like trying to help? I run like because I can't get in the corner right now. I'm trying. I don't know what to do. I can only drive as hard as it'll go.
Enter Rudy Fugle. Fugle, a longtime crew chief with Kyle Motorsports in the Truck Series, where he won 7 times with William Byron in 2016, was hired by Hendrick Motorsports in the offseason to help give Byron a trusted and familiar voice in his ear. Byron, through 22 races, has already matched career bests in wins and top 10s and has doubled his career high in top 5s with 8 this season to date. And an even bigger indication of the success of the driver of the 24 is his bolstered average finish, which rose from 16.2 in 2020 to 11.9 this season. After the pairing's victory in Homestead, both were really quick to discuss the reasons for success. Byron stated, "We really have good communication, so it just comes down to that. We spend time together. We think the same when it comes to racing, and that helps a lot because we just feed off of each other. It's a big deal to have somebody like that." Fugle echoed this sentiment. What helped us about the previous relationship was the fact that we've worked together before, and I knew him. I knew how to push his buttons. I knew how to motivate him. This coming from an Axalta Racing article after Homestead. With Byron's early season success, and success to date really, including his 11 straight top 10s from Homestead through Dover, the combination of Fugle and Byron has steadied out an up and down start to the former Xfinity Series champion's career. They will most likely continue to have success as Byron continues to grow as a Cup Series driver. In 2020, Hendrick Motorsports won 2 of the 20 550 horsepower races. This season, they have won 4 of the 8 to date. In this, you can also, you have Kyle Larson, who dominated at Atlanta in the spring, Kansas, and also was really quick at Pocono. But all of those races, he lost late in the going. To start, there are a few things to take note of in terms of scheduling. In 2020, there were 20 races on the schedule that utilized the 550 horsepower package. This was 55% of the schedule. In 2021, to date, 8 of the 22 races have been with the 550 package, with only 4 remaining, meaning this season 550 horsepower tracks will only make up 33% of the schedule. Of the tracks that utilize 550 in 2020, Darlington switched to its 750 horsepower track. Michigan and Texas both lost an event, as well as Kentucky losing a date to Atlanta. Fontana lost a date to the Daytona Road Course, and of course, Indy in August will utilize their road course instead of the oval, accounting for the drop in 550 horsepower tracks. As you can see, in 2020, the 550 average running position for each Hendrick driver was greater than their season average. This can be due to a bunch of different reasons: a larger sample size, chief among them as the 550 horsepower tracks held more weight in the season average. This really tells us the performance of Hendrick on the 750 horsepower tracks was remarkably better to their 550 horsepower stuff last season. When we turn to 2021, we see the opposite of that trend. Each Hendrick driver has a lower average finishing position on the 550 horsepower tracks than what they do for the remainder of the season, except Chase Elliott, who was stronger at the 750 tracks last season compared to his teammates, resulting in his championship. Now, most would say that this proves the point that a smaller sample size will help push the average of the 550 tracks down compared to the season average finishing position. However, in the case of the other 3 Hendrick Motorsports drivers, their 550 average is at least 3 positions higher than their average for the rest of the races in the year. Alex Bowman, in particular, is very interesting. In the season in which, like previously stated, he has more wins than is in his career year, his 550 average has jumped from 15.65 to 9.25. That's 6 positions better. Byron, who sits at an 8.13, has jumped almost 10 spots from his 17th place average finishing position in 2020 on 550 horsepower tracks. Those 2 in particular have helped the team's average jump from 16th to 9.8. You can also just look at the success of Kyle Larson and Cliff Daniels and the entire 5 team, who has improved the 550 finishes substantially for Jimmy Johnson's former team. The team, of course, has also led more laps to date on the 550 tracks, which, of course, is an impressive feat, but can mainly be attributed to the success of Kyle Larson, who has led 851 laps so far this season on 550 horsepower tracks. The team as a whole last season only led 990 laps in the 20 races with this package. The team thus has eclipsed the mark of laps led on 550 horsepower tracks already, with 1,134 led this season. The real point of listing this stat off is the fact that laps led can help better represent how a team ran on the 550 tracks. We can also see outliers where a driver maybe led many laps due to a strategy call that got them out front and kept them out there. Both of these numbers from 2020 in the case of Alex Bowman and 2021 in the case of Kyle Larson have a large amount of laps led from the World 600. So there is not a huge discrepancy there in terms of one race playing too much into the total. William Byron in particular has led more laps on 550 tracks than last season, with the majority of those laps, 102, coming from his victory at Homestead. It's still a lot more than last year in total, 57 last year to 283 this year. Both Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott, though, have led less laps on the 550 horsepower tracks. Bowman led 421 last year, which the majority came from his win at Fontana in the third race of the year in 2020, and then the World 600 where crew chief Greg Ives got him a strategy call. He's only been out front for 39 circuits on the 550 tracks this year. This again plays into what we talked about with Bowman, the ability to close out races and win when he doesn't necessarily have the best car, which is what accounts for his winning this season. Elliott, though, on the other hand, has not looked great on the 550 tracks. This year, he has led 61 laps on said tracks, but when combined with the worst average finish, as well as just looking off most weeks at the beginning of the races, losing track position, and then, like most other drivers, finding it hard to overcome the dirty air produced by the package. To put it frankly, Hendrick Motorsports has placed a renewed emphasis on the 550 horsepower tracks. When we look at the schedule, we see they have drivers that excel, in theory, at the 750 tracks in terms of talent and can make up for a lack of raw speed, leading to this investment in the races where raw speed has meant more to the outcome of the event than ever before. To play devil's advocate, some have argued that Hendrick peaked early in the season. I don't think that's the case. I'd rather think of it like this. Hendrick Motorsports has put more time, money, and resources into becoming better at 33% of the schedule. In the last month, we have had 3 races on those 550 horsepower tracks. Pocono with its doubleheader, and then Atlanta. They won one of those races, had the best cars at both Pocono races, and Alex Bowman still finished third at Atlanta. Previously in the year, though, they won 3 of the 5 before that, with those wins coming with Byron and Kyle Larson. To say that Hendrick has peaked too early is a gross misunderstanding of the sport and the fluid nature of team investments. Because compared to other teams at tracks like New Hampshire where the team struggled, the common thought is that they just haven't made as much of an investment into 750 races as their competitors. A reason for this could be the composition of the round of 8, where we have 2 550 horsepower tracks, and then Martinsville to decide who will race for the championship in 2021. In the end, the money makes the world go round, and Hendrick will continue to be a strong force for the remainder of 2021. To conclude, Hendrick Motorsports has been the best team in the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season. You can attribute it to numerous things, but to simplify it down to the addition of one driver or one personnel change is too drastic of a take for the data that we know. We know as a whole Hendrick has drastically improved. We know that Kyle Larson has been the talk of North American motorsports for the last 18 months in terms of his success on track and his task to try to redeem himself off of it. Heck, we know that a brand new car that will shake the foundation of the Cup Series is on its way for 2022. In the end, as we sit here in 2021, Hendrick Motorsports has created a blueprint for itself, and quite frankly, the rest of the sport, for how to properly rebuild an organization in the short term. If the pace can continue is the big question at this point. as the industry will once again have to pivot to a brand new car, most likely new and improved schedule, and more importantly, a brand new economic model that will have ramifications on American motorsports for years to come. Let Hendrick live in the now, because for everyone, the future is uncertain. Thank you guys all for watching. If you want to hear more from us here on JTN, make sure to subscribe down below. Also, tell us what you think about Hendrick Motorsports and their 2021 success, and if you think it is sustainable. Smash that like button, and we can't wait to see you all in the next video.